So whoever the creator is, the center of our universe, we know that he's giving us this opportunity to breathe. We are breathing, okay? Precious Mother Earth has went through a lot. We have gone through a lot as human beings. So it is so important that we understand that we must take the time to breathe, to relax, not to put ourselves up under too much pressure, too much stress. When you have something that's too much, be still, be quiet. Take a couple of deep breaths, find a space, and exhale, okay? And I'm not talking about the movie. So my name is Nana Zakia. I am going to be your co-host for the afternoon. I just wanted to say that we're waiting for the military to come. We have some soldiers that are on their way, so that when we raise the flags, we can remember all of our ancestors, all of our fathers who fought in wars, who never really got the benefits, the veteran benefits, never really got the Purple Hearts or the Golden Cross, but they were the ones who fought for freedom, for democracy, and for the protection of our country, of our communities, and of our families. So we're a little bit running behind because we're waiting on the military and one other two people. And I just wanted to say I wanted you all to breathe, to relax, okay? And we'll get on with the program. Baba Tunde is here. Brother Santos is here with the drums. Sister Deborah is here. You are here, we are here, the Creator's here. Each and every one of us, there's about 21,000 ancestors behind us. So even if we're looking at this place called the Harlem State Office Building, where Malcolm stood, Pork Chop Davis, where Kwame Nkrumah came, okay, where Maya Angelou danced here as well, where Dr. Ben taught, where we had the Tree of Life bookstore. Know that we have 21,000 ancestors behind us and many, many honorable ones who come from Harlem, who decided to make Harlem their home. Harlem, I call it the international, 125th Street to me is the international crossroads of black culture. Everything comes from here. Our hip hop, our blues, our jazz, our stories. So know that our ancestors, Malcolm is here, Kwame Nkrumah is here, Pork Chop Davis, Daddy Grace is here, okay? Tree of Life, Brother Michaud is here, okay? We have Paul Robeson, he lived here. James Baldwin, we have Langston Hughes, okay? We have all these ancestors who made 125th Street their pathway and their soapbox, they used to call it. Get up on your soapbox. And what did that mean? That means you got up on some milk crates and you was able to expound to the people exactly what it is of what was going down in the community and what they can do about it. Okay? We didn't have to have a permit from the police. Okay? We were the sound permit. So know that we are on sacred ground. I'm going to be pouring libation. Again, my name is Nana Zakia. And I am here, and I am honored to be here in Unity in the Community, Inc. at this event, because this is what I've been about all my life. I grew up in Harlem. I grew up in the projects in Drew Hamilton, 144th Street and 8th Avenue. And I can't understand the madness how children are going in these projects, because when I was coming up in the projects, we would leave Drew Hamilton to come over to St. Nicholas to party. Then we would leave St. Nicholas and then we go to Grant. Then we go to Manhattanville. But we was going to have fun. We was going to parties. We was going to the basketball games. We wasn't like, you from St. Nicholas don't come to Drew Hamilton. Who said so? Everybody's parent pay rent here. Nobody owned nothing. We just wanted to have fun. I'm not saying we didn't have no fights or nothing like that, because that's happening when you young people. You got stuff going on inside you, and you're being tested. Okay? Your metal is being tested. So we had our little fights, we were arguing, but we didn't shoot one another. Because if I shoot your son, then your mother is crying. Then your sisters and brothers want to have revenge on me. Then we don't know what the potential of that child may have been. They could have cured cancer. They could have cured diabetes. You understand? They could have been an Obama. So we have to understand, when we was coming up, life was taught to us that it was very, very important. And we're here for an important event. Our ancestors fought for the emancipation to be free. And they needed that freedom to be able to give the fruits of who we are and how we are here today. So with that, we're going to raise a flag. We're going to let the banner flag fly, the blood-stained banner. Remember that song, the blood-stained banner? That's our blood-stained banner, the red, black, and green. The yellow is for the golden sun. We are the center. It gives us our colors, gives us our energy. It is the center of our universe. It's all the planets. So we're going to raise that flag. We're going to remember those ancestors who were not free, who suffered, who never saw freedom, but cried for it. And then the day came, and it was their reality, and they manifested it. So just relax a little bit. Enjoy the drumming. I'll be back. I'm going to pour libation. I'm going to turn it over to Deborah. And as I said, we are on sacred grounds. Enjoy yourselves. Peace.
I'm just going to go and get the cup. Okay. All right. Hello, I would like to welcome everyone that's out here today. Thank you for the official Juneteenth flag raising. We're a little bit behind schedule. We're waiting for the military, but if the military is not here to show up, then we're going to improvise and do it ourselves, okay? Because enough time has been lapsed right now. So now, I just would like to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm Deborah Ogwama. I'm with Creating Unity in the Community. I am the founder and the CEO. We do community events, Kwanzaa events, and I'm also a member of National Juneteenth Foundation Observance. We are the ones responsible for the legislation that was passed in order to make this an official Juneteenth federal holiday. So I would like to thank everyone. And I met a gentleman that was the founder of NJOF. His name was Doc Myers. Doc Myers was from Mississippi, but Doc Myers was responsible for the 48 states that had a Juneteenth observance. So he was the one that really pushed us forward. And Doc knew everything, okay? He knew if somebody was on 125th Street selling his t-shirts. But Doc was all the way in Mississippi. I said, Doc, how you know somebody's out here with your shirts, okay? He said, I know. I know exactly what's going on. So with that said, we're having this event and not straying away from Doc's vision of integrity, of honesty, that no politician will run or be in charge of the Juneteenth. That is for the foundation and for the community. It's not for one individual, it's for all of us. And there's so much more behind the Juneteenth, as far as legislation is concerned. You're talking about critical race theory. You're talking about researching our history. But just not for us as African American to be proud of, but it's to also teach all of America exactly where we are and the contributions that we have made for the 400 years that we have been here. So it's important for others to know so that we don't have a lot of uninformed or misguided people that don't know, whether they black, white, orange, regardless. People need to know and celebrate and pay homage to their history. And we are the ones who built this beautiful country. We are the ones who should have all rights. So behind this Juneteenth, in the next couple of years, a lot of y'all will be hearing about the reparations, because the reparations is about that. So if you recognize Juneteenth and all of the contributions behind Juneteenth, the Emancipation Proclamation, then you have to recognize reparations as well. And there's so many people across this country that's working tirelessly in order to make that reality a fact. It's not to take away anything about America, but it's to put us in our rightful place. Another vision of Doc was also to raise that Juneteenth flag at the at the Statue of Liberty. Now that didn't happen this year, but we are hoping and praying that that will happen. We was just in talk with our mayor about raising that flag at Exchange Place, Wall Street, because that was another vision of Doc's, to raise that flag so that people will know and recognize that we never, ever, ever have to go back to being on an auction block or giving away our talents that we have. So it's very important. Also, with this year of Juneteenth, recognizing Father's Day, okay? Hey, Father's Day. It's a special blessing of the freedom of Father's Day. One of the very first Father's Day was celebrated during Juneteenth in the state of Texas, okay? So we're recognizing that. And this year we're calling of all religious institutions to also place General Order number 3 on their doors so that everyone understands what the 12 freedoms are and what we are still fighting for today. This was the 12 freedoms that we gained after Emancipation Proclamation. And some of these 12 freedoms we're still not liberated with. We're still fighting for. We didn't have the right to even put clothes on our backs. We could not grow our own food. We could not be educated. We could not name ourselves. Hello. And of course, we didn't have no part in the legislation or any political aspects of that. So there's a lot going on. And even me putting on this event, there has been a lot of obstacles, but glory, glory, you gotta wake up early in the morning and start mapping out and praying that it's gonna happen no matter what. And it has, and it is. So even though we're a little bit behind schedule, I'm gonna turn it over to our host, Nubian, and we're gonna start the program, and by that time, Sister Sakia should be back so she can do the libation. Thank you.
Give a round of applause for yourselves just for being here. I had a thought in my mind I just couldn't keep in. So I wrote this rhyme for those still sleeping. Like a zombie, a dead mind is thinking comatose from 400 years of tears and hypnosis. Don't mean to pick the mic up and cause a controversy, but it's a strange situation in the streets today. People dying with the line because they're trying the wrong thing, and at this time I'm forced to lift my voice and sing. Don't listen to the rhythm that the villain is kicking. It's written for the victim whose wisdom is missing. I'm dissing so you listen. My vision is building. I'm driven from my mission, which is strictly large living. That is part of the poem called Be All You Can Be from the compilation album If the Ocean Had a Voice, which is part of the Middle Passage project. And I give thanks to all those who died in the Middle Passage coming over to Africa in slave ships. We're going to start the libation. Yes, give them a round of applause because some of them decided to jump rather than be a slave. And speaking of ancestors, we're going to invite the ancestors here by pouring libation. Zakia.
Thank you. Let me get the water. I'm gonna need somebody to hold this mic. We don't have a stand, right? To use the bell. Okay. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Okay. That's good. That's a good volume. Okay. I'm gonna pour libation. We all know that water is the true elixir of life. Ashe? Without water, none of us would be here. Without the oceans, without the seas, without the rivers, without the lakes, without the trickles of the little brooks, without the wells of waters underneath Mother Earth, if it was not for water, everything that on this planet would not exist. And since our bodies is 90% water, it's only appropriate that we use water when we want to pour libation in a sacred ceremony. It just means that we are giving honor to the source of life, and as like water, we gotta flow with it. Okay, we gotta go with it. And it represents also the living waters within human beings. So when I pour libation, I'm giving thanks and praises first to Mother Earth, because she embodies everything and she also is our final resting place. Then I'm going to do the 4 directions, then I'm going to do above, then I'm going to do below. So, I want to first give thanks and praises to the creator of all life, because they gave us water, the elixir of life and the maintenance of this Mother Earth, and I poured because without it, no one is here. Ashe? I pour this water in memory of all of our ancestors. This is a time where you'll sit here and you'll meditate about your own ancestors, say their names. And this is for our familiar ancestors, for each of us. I'm going to be quiet for about 30 seconds because you're going to be saying the names of your ancestors within that 30 seconds, and the drums is going to call them in. Ashe? I call on our righteous ancestors that they come this day. Austin, Edward Green, yes, Lucy Green,
Selma Jones.
Harriet Tubman, Sonia Turner, Frederick Douglass, Malcolm X, Kwame Nkrumah, Patrice Lumumba, and all of our ancestors' names and unnamed. Now, I'm going to pour for the four directions. I go to the east first because that is where the sun rises all over the world. The east gives us a chance and opportunity to see a new day, to take advantage of that day until the ending of that day and the sun in the evening sets down, so you can reflect and use that day as you have been destined and have the faith and the wherewithal, the family and the love and etc., to face that new day. So each day we give thanks for the rising sun. At the end of each day, we give thanks to the setting sun. Not just because we're finally getting out of school, not just because we're finally getting off of work and we ain't got to hear the boss, but we give thanks for the end of the day because it gives us time for us to reflect on what we did within that day, how that day turned out for us, what we can do in order to prepare ourselves for tomorrow in this present time, to have that time for assessment. So we give thanks and praises to the West because as the sun sets, it also gives us time to rest, to assess what we've done for the day, and to know that we have the future which will come in the morrow with the next rising sun. I'm going to turn this way to the south. Y'all can play the drum. I'm going to turn this way for the south because the south gives us the warm winds. As the further south you go, the warmer it gets. You get to the equator. You start getting past North Carolina and you get past Florida, and next thing you know, you're in Cuba. The next thing you know, you're in Haiti, you're in Dominican Republic, you're in Puerto Rico. Next thing you know, you're all over the Caribbean island, you're in Jamaica. Next thing you know, you're in Trinidad. The next thing you know, you're everywhere where it's warm and comfortable. And the breeze of the summer comes and it brings that warmth and it makes the earth to grow. So we give thanks to the south, to the continent of Mother Africa, who is the center of the world. I do the north last. Why do you do the north last? The north is a very cold place. It's a very isolated place. And even in the Bible, and anytime you read about someone who has wisdom, they climb to the white tops of the mountain. This is why we get our gray hair. Because we've climbed from the valley of infancy, going all the way up to our various rites and stages of life. And if we're lucky, we get the crown of the white hair. And anytime somebody's really looking to be a Buddha, to be a shaman, it's not by chance that they go to the mountains. Because in the mountains, that is where God is. He is in the highest place. He is looking above over you. And so the north represents the God. And the Native Americans say that they have the land of the God because it's the coldest place and it is the whitest place amongst the earth. And they say that God resided there because humankind had forgotten what he had made them for and got caught up in their own ego. And the nations were divided and no one was protecting each other
And Mother Earth began to cry, began sick, and she could not take care of us. So God went furthest to the north to stay away from man, but he can still send his prayers to him. And those who make it there and live there know that they have went to the extremes to find the God and give thanks for being alive. So we give thanks to the Northwest because that is the furthest place of which God resides on this earth to look over all of us in all directions. So we say, thank you for the North. Give thanks to the earth, thanks above, thanks below, and to the circle of life. And to all the ancestors, and to everyone who is here. I'm going to play a little bells with the drummers. And as they play, I'm going to play my bells. And that'll bring in the power of the four directions, okay? So it's only going to be the bells and the drums.
Give her another round of applause. Give your ancestors another round of applause. My name is Nubia, the MC, another component of creating unity in the community. Now, please welcome Esther to the stage. You're going to read, she's going to read as a part of this program the flag raising ceremony about Juneteenth, flag raising ceremony about the National Juneteenth Observance Foundation and the history of the Juneteenth flag. Okay?
Greetings. My name is Esther Seabrook. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. My name is Esther Seabrook, and I'm here to represent my organization, which is called Blacks in Government. Blacks in Government was an organization that was started in 1974 in Maryland. It was started because although we work for the federal government, we weren't getting our proper recognition with raises and different jobs that were available to us. We've been a great advocacy program for all of the governmental agencies worldwide. One of our most prominent things that we do is we have a National Training Institute every year, and we go to different cities so that we can help them build up their communities. This year we will be in Cleveland, Ohio from August 13th to August the 18th. Now I will read the history of the Juneteenth flag. The Juneteenth flag was created by the NJOF Massachusetts Juneteenth State Director and founder of the National Juneteenth Celebration Foundation, NJCF, by Ben Haith in 1997. The flag underwent a revision in the year 2000. The symbols were a deliberate process so that all Americans can recognize American freedom and African American history. The banner with the bursting star in the middle is a symbolic representation of the end of slavery in the United States. The white star in the center of the flag has a dual meaning. It represents Texas, the Lone Star State that goes beyond representing the freedom of African Americans in all 50 states. The bursting outline around the star is inspired by a nova, a term that astronomers use to mean a new star. The Arc 24, the curve that extends across the width of the flag, represents a new horizon. The opportunities and promises that lay ahead for Black Americans. The red, white, and blue represent the American flag, a reminder that slaves and their descendants were and are Americans. The flag was revived in 2007 to include the date, June 19, 1865, commemorating enslaved African Americans in Galveston, Texas, to learn about the Emancipation Proclamation. Hayes says, this country has so many aspects to it that are spiritual. Believe this flag is of that nature. It represents modern day design, did not stop the spearheading of the historic first Juneteenth flag raising ceremony at the Dillaway Thomas House at the Roxbury Heritage Park in Boston, Massachusetts. The tradition of raising the Juneteenth flag has grown today as a reminder for all African Americans that they are still fighting for equality and justice. Hayes said those colors symbolize a continuous commitment of people in the United States to do better and to live up to the American ideal of liberty and justice for all. The Juneteenth flag raising ceremonies have taken place throughout June in communities across the nation. Okay, next I will speak about the American flags of freedom. Flag raising is in memory of the Reverend Dr. Ronald V. Myers Sr., MD, born February 29, 1956, and died September 7, 2018, who was the founder and chairman of the National Juneteenth Observance Foundation, NJOF, a member of the National Black Evangelical Association, founder and chairman of the National Juneteenth Christian Leadership Council, president of the American Pain Institute, API, and president of the Black Doctors Matter, BDM. National Juneteenth Observance Foundation, which is NJOF, founder, the late Reverend the late Reverend Ronald V. Myers Sr., MD, introduced Juneteenth to 43 states and the District of Columbia. Reverend Myers' vision became a reality June 17, 2021, as President Joe Biden signed the Juneteenth National Independence Day legislation with NJOF board member Ms. Opal Lee at the table. The Juneteenth Nation goes forth to educate the world on Juneteenth and the many hidden stories as subject matter experts on Juneteenth, who is responsible for the education of department managers regarding the procedures such as programs, flag raisings, publications, etc. What made an impact that unifies America for that day? In a holistic approach, they must ensure the observance for all of America. While days of observance must be a uniform procedure, holidays do not have this mandate embedded in their structure. In the case of Juneteenth, the National Juneteenth Observance Foundation, NJOF, is the recognized subject matter expert. We have a hand in defining of the governmental policy on Juneteenth. While there are many organizations involved in Juneteenth celebrations and commemorations, NJOF has been instrumental in the passage of more than 43 pieces of state legislation, the Library of Congress, and the 400-Year Commission on African American History recognizing Juneteenth. Juneteenth is internationally recognized in Africa, Mexico, Guam, and Japan, among other countries. The United Nations additionally has named Juneteenth, June the 19th, as World Sickle Cell Day. Thank you.
Give Esther a round of applause. She did well. Now we're going to have a cultural expression by author Florence J. Mills. Bring a warm welcome and a round of applause, Harlem. She is going to entertain you and be poignant with her poetry.